Okay, so this is my first presentation, so I hope I have beginner's luck. Okay, so 1 second. I'm gonna share screen.
You should be able to share your screen. Yeah, you got it.
Okay. Okay, so I work with Elad Insurance. Okay, I'll start with myself, Miriam Ehrman. My parents made Aliyah 40 years ago, born and raised in Jerusalem. And I grew up in Rehavia. We moved to Ramat Beit Shemesh 2 years ago. We love it very much. I go into the office and with no corona, we go in twice a week, and now more or less home base because there's a lockdown and my kids are home. So yeah, we work more or less from home. I'm going to talk about our firm. Our firm is since 1960. Elad purchased our insurance agency, Centurion, in 2008. Centurion dealt with Anglos, mainly people who made Aliyah, people who were already living here. They understood the needs and the uniqueness of people who are speaking English, first of all, because they don't understand the language. Second of all, they have different needs than the other Israelis or regular Israelis living in Israel. So a lot in the beginning, was a business purchase, but then they very, very fast, they understood the difference between the clients, and we established a big department of English-speaking staff and trying to get their needs according to what they need or what they're used to. Okay, today I'm gonna focus about home insurance. I believe most of you have the basic home insurance, either because you have a mortgage or because you understand how important it is. Home insurance has two parts to it. It has the structure, which is the walls, rebuilding the apartment in case there's a serious damage or if there was a water leak or fire. And then you have the contents. For structure, we include also tiles, built-in closets, toilets, cabinets, anything that is attached to the wall is included in the structure. In my perspective, it's the most expensive asset to the persons, beside our life, of course. And I believe that every person, every apartment in Israel has to have at least the structure insurance. You see that the banks, they require that when you take a loan, they require to have the structure insurance at least. Besides that, you have the other part, which is contents insurance. Contents insurance is anything that is in the house, will include appliances, furniture, valuables, arts, etc. Many people, think that it's not important to have they say, like, what do I have? Nothing's going to happen if, someone takes my jewelry, I'm not going to replace it. So it's true. You don't have to insure every small item in your house. But I do believe that if, God forbid, there's a fire, or there's a serious damage in your house, to refurnish your apartment will cost a lot of money. Everything adds up. I go to IKEA, which is a 5 minutes drive from here, and very, very easily, it adds up and it gets to a few thousand shekels. So to refurnish your house will cost a lot of money. And usually if you don't have very expensive items, the annual premium is not expensive. So we have to remember that home insurance, either structure or contents, is not an expensive thing. And my perspective, way more important than car insurance. Another part to the policy, which is very important, is third-party liability. Third-party liability will include any person who comes into your house that is not first related or not living in the house. It could be a friend that comes for, a meal, a play date that you have, a neighbor, people who come to visit. Now, the picture that you're seeing on your left, this is an apartment that we insured, or still insuring, 3 years ago. There was an incident on Pisgat Ze'ev. It was Hanukkah, and there was a girl that had lit her Hanukkah menorah. the candle fell off to the couch. She was in the bedroom and she started smelling the smoke. She came out and the whole living room was full of smoke. She couldn't go to the door. She managed to escape and to jump from the porch to the neighbors. She was, thank God, saved. She was a little bit of fractured, but thank God nothing happened to her. The apartment was almost all totaled besides a bedroom and a bathroom. Now, the insurance that they purchased 4 months ago was less than 1,000 shekels. Her policy covered her damage plus the neighbor's damage. If you see, the top floor was also damaged. This was probably like 200,000 shekels. This was all covered under the third-party liability. Now, if you have a policy through the bank, they do not have third-party liability. So you want to check your policy to make sure that you have third-party liability. This is very important. Also could be extended to, usually in Israel, it's up to 1 million shekels. Some people extend it to up to 4. Not necessary, but can be extended. Another story we had, I'm talking about major explosion that happened in Gilo with balloon gas. If you remember, the old balloon gas exploded 5 years ago and caused a serious damage to half of a building. 2 clients of ours were insured there, and we were able to help them through this. So fire is a very common thing, unfortunately, and happens all the time. This is covered under the third-party liability, and you must check your policy to see that you have that. Housekeeper, is a housekeeper covered? Yes, a housekeeper is covered as long as it's reported to Bituach Leumi. Whatever the insurance company will pay is on top of what you pay to Bituach Leumi. If you have a technician who comes to fix your dryer, your washing machine, your refrigerator, this will not be covered, but a housekeeper, if you report to Bituach Leumi, will be covered. Okay, so this is a summary of main coverage of home policy: fire, water, flood, storm, lightning, burglary, third-party liability, and earthquake. Okay, and other important policies that you might want to check that you have is health insurance, life insurance, pension, car insurance, and business. Now, according to the new regulations in Israel, any person could check their policy in their names according to the Teudat Zehut. All you need to do, maybe I'm going to write it down at the chat afterwards. All you need to do is go to a site called Har Lebituach. You type in your Teudat Zehut. When was it issued? It's going to ask you when was your Teudat Zehut issued, plus 2 more questions. Have you issued a new passport in the last 3 years? Israeli passport, of course, or if you left the country in the last 3 years, and then you could see all the policies in your name. I really recommend to check that because you could see, first of all, if you have double insurance. We sometimes have all kinds of policies we don't know. We sign up with this guy and then the other person, and you have double insurance. Plus, you could see everything, and you could start comparing to see, I'm paying this and this for many years. Take it to your broker, ask them, maybe you could lower it. Do you have better plans? I myself, I work with more in the elementary, cars, homes, and business. And when it comes to the life and health insurance, I'm clueless. I know what I'm paying for, but I don't know the details, and also changes all the time. I sit with the agent, my colleague, every 2 years, and we go over the policy. We see maybe to extend, maybe to switch a company. It's really important to go over these things. So basically, this is it. Thanks for listening. I hope it was clear. You have here my details, and if you need anything to do with insurance, send me an email, go on our site, and I'll be happy to assist you.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Miriam. That was brilliant. A huge round of applause. Does anyone have any questions? And
Can you put that site, I'm sorry, can you put that site on?
Yeah, I'm
that
gonna put it
tells
on the
all
chat.
insurance?
I will
Yeah.
send it also in the email after this meeting as well, so you'll have it both ways as well. Michal.
Yes, okay. Miriam, is there a difference between contents insurance and renter's insurance?
Okay, so when you're renting an apartment, you usually do not need to renting out or renting.
Renting.
So you usually want to cover yourself, the contents only, because the person who's renting out the apartment is covering the structure. What is important.
And what if they're not?
Right. But you're not, okay, so you don't have to, because it's not your, no one's gonna sue you for the walls or whatever. Usually most people who rent out the apartments do get that. And even if you have only contents insurance, there is a paragraph that you put that they cannot sue you for, for any damage of the walls or structure. So it's very important when you speak to your broker to mention that you're renting out, and it should be in fine letters that you're not responsible for damage of the walls or water pipes or fire, etc.
Ayelet.
Okay, so two things. One, I'm just going to reiterate what Miriam said in terms of life insurance and building insurance, that you need both those things when taking out a mortgage. And really listen to this, what Miriam explained about the building insurance when you are taking out a mortgage. If you take out the building insurance through the bank, they usually do not cover third party. That really is a big one that we also go over with clients. That's a huge, huge one. Life insurance may or may not, you can compare, but that's a very, very big one. So don't skim over that. Miriam spent a lot of time on third party, Sad Gimel in Hebrew it's called, and you really want to take that into account. I had a question in terms of when you said you could check all your insurances. That also covers if you have certain policies through work, and then it'll all come up.
Yeah. If it's in your name and your Tudat Zehut, yes. If you have a spouse, you check out according to the spouse. But anything that is in your name, should it show up in Har LaBituach, it's usually very accurate. Yeah, I always tell people, go on, check what you have, what you don't have. To be clear, this is sometimes the regulations are not in the benefits. This is a really good one. So yeah.
Okay, and then one more question. When you were speaking about, you spoke about fire a lot, which is definitely also scary, fire damage or water damage. Where does the agent play a part in that, as opposed to just the insurance company? As the middleman, do you speak to then the company on the person's behalf? How does all that work when somebody has to make a claim? What's the process there?
Okay, so this is the difference between an agent to going into the Bituach Yashir, the direct companies. When you have an agent, anything to do with, a claim, extending the policy, any change is through that agent, okay? That's something that I didn't mention in my presentation. When you have a simple policy, just, Bituach Chova, the mandatory insurance in Israel for a motorbike, you don't need an agent. You do need an agent when you have a home policy, when you have pension, when you have health insurance, because you need someone to be there for you. I say, there's no end to insurance. You could cover this and this and this. So I always tell people, I recommend whatever I do for myself, and I recommend whatever I believe in. I don't believe in covering anything that you have. I'll tell people, according to what I understand, how much they are limited to, hello?
Yeah, we've got you.
Sorry. Okay. Whatever I see according to their needs of the family, that's the agent's job. Now, fire or anything that happens, the client calls us and we try to get the best. It's not easy to get from the insurance company money. No company is looking to pay. This is the honest truth. And as an agent, yeah, I try to get the client whatever he deserves. And sometimes the client is not right. And we try our best to get to the client whatever he should get according to the policy or whatever according to his needs.
What about the communication part? Like, where does that part come in? Like, if you have to make a claim, not just the paperwork, but when you have to make a claim, very often it means an appraiser coming to the house or somebody checking
Correct.
certain things.
So that's the agent. That's the agent job. He communicates between the company and the client, making a good time. For an example, you took fire. This family that I showed the picture, they couldn't live in the apartment for 4 months. According to the insurance company, they got rental for half a year. That's a standard policy. So this was our job to make sure that the apartment is decent. It's something to do with their needs. If they have a family of kids, you can't put them in a one-room apartment. This is the agent job. Yeah.
Any more questions? Joshua.
Hi, I'm just curious about with the way with car insurance and vehicle insurance. How is the market in Israel competing with electric vehicles? Are they trying to give incentive to switch over to electric?
Right.
What type? Are they going to cover the battery and the motor? What type of incentive is they being given it?
Right. So in the past, like I'm talking about 2-3 years ago, there were hardly companies. We're talking about electric cars, right?
Talking about electric vehicles in general, because one of the issues, the UK Tesla's managed to come in pretty easy, but Israel has a lot of strong points, especially there's a lot of incentive to switch over to electric. Is the insurance agency going to start thinking about, or is the government going to start giving more incentive?
Okay, so I don't know about the government. I could tell you that today the insurance companies, some of them are more flexible and are insuring electric cars. Every car in Israel is insured according to a booklet. It's like the Bible of the cars, Levi Yitzchak booklet. According to that, we calculate the policy, to calculate the premium and all that. So if Levi Yitzchak approves the electric cars, we have no problem of insuring it. If you have like a specific, specific model, something that you want me to check, I'm happy to assist you later on. But the general, I don't know if Israel is going towards, more electric cars. That I don't know.
Any more questions? Thank you so much, Rory. My friend actually last night, she was robbed. People had been watching her apartment, obviously, and they came in through the window and they took everybody's laptops. They took everybody's kind of expensive items. And thank God they did have content insurance, because it was written into their contract they had to get content insurance, so they had it, thank God. But you just don't know when it can hit. I think it's really scary.
It's awful.
Yeah.
First of all, it's awful to have this feeling someone goes in through your stuff and break in. But more than that, my concern is fire. Fire is scary. It's just scary, and fortunately happens, and that's basic to cover.
Yeah. On that note, but thank you. That was really important and really informative. And obviously, if you have any more questions, do feel free to reach out to Miriam. So I'm going to put you into breakout rooms for the second time. I think we will do a third one. So again, if there's anyone you want to speak with, let me know. It's now 3:05, so I'll bring you out at 3:15. And Miriam, if you send me that link as well, then I'll also add it to the.
I'm going to look for the link. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Okay, great. So yeah. Yaakov?